Hello everyone, back tuning into today's first video in the second summer 2020 season 1 roundup. Today's first video. So we're going to get something like 12 long-range models together and see what they're all showing for the summer of 2024. Only the second time this season, and I'll get on that very shortly. Just say that coming up later on today, just after lunch, we'll have Gaz Wubby's Sunday roundup. That's going to be your usual Sunday afternoon eclectic mix of this and that. And we're also going to have a live stream on the Gaz Wubby's YouTube channel. So between 5 and 6 o'clock, we'll let everybody check in, see how we're all doing as we continue to be under lockdown due to the coronavirus. And as I say, we'll have that live stream coming up for you on the Gaz Wubby's YouTube channel between 5 and 6 o'clock. The video will also be embedded onto the homepage at gazwubbies.com, so you'll be able to have a listen there. But if you want to get involved with the discussion, if you want to get involved with the chat, then you will need to go to the YouTube channel. This is going to be quite a long video, so if you can't watch it all in one go, then don't worry. It will be kept at the website indefinitely. I'll place it on the summer updates page or with a written summary for you, and I'll get that up for you this evening, probably around 7, 8 o'clock, something like that. Probably a bit late due to the live stream, but I will get it for you this evening. Right, going to start off with the JMA season model first of all. So this one is only going through to the middle of summer. So it's going from May to July. It doesn't yet cover the full summer period. That will come on stream next month when we do next month's third and final summer 2020 season one roundup. So this is the 500 millibar height anomaly for the summer of 2021, not for the full summer of 2020, for May to July. So British Isles in top right hand corner of the chart as you are looking at it. And it's an anticyclonic single overall, above average height, sitting over top of the country for the 3-monthly period from May to July. You can get a lot of information from this model, and we did a video a few days ago where we took this one out and we went through the detail month by month. So if you want to know how the anomalies are varying on a month-by-month basis from May to July, then have a look at that video that we did a couple of days ago. Temperature anomalies from the JMA are looking like that. So overall a little bit above average for the period from May through to July. So quite a mildish period coming up, and also precipitation anomalies are below average as well. So this is not a bad model to start us off for this update. Warm and dry really through late spring to the middle part of summer. Now from this point onwards, every model that you see will be covering the full summer 2020 period. So we've got no more messing about with months that are shorter, or 3-month periods that are shorter for some period. Every model from now on will cover June, July, August 2020. So we go to Brazil next, and this one is the 500 millibar height anomaly from the Brazilian model, and it's showing quite a strange looking anomaly. It's showing above average heights in the Atlantic, below average heights. This always does things different, of course. Blue is extrapolate to high pressure, yellow, orange and red to low pressure. So we've got low pressure up to our north, a ridge over and to the west of the country, jet stream probably doing something a bit like that. We have got a trough within the 500 millibar flow extending through central parts of Europe, so it's over Scandinavia and it extends down through central Europe. We're just sort of on the periphery of the dip in the 500 millibar flow. So it could actually be a little bit cooler and a little bit more unsettled than the summer you might anticipate given that anomaly. The temperature anomaly for the summer of 2020 from a Brazilian model is close to or a little bit above average. And the precipitation anomaly is near normal, but look how wet it is just to our east. So many northern parts of Europe actually have a wet summer. Our anomaly is close to average, but it would only take a very, very subtle adjustment, and then we will find ourselves within those wetter than average conditions. We go north from Brazil to Canada, so this is the mean cell pressure anomaly from the CANSIPS model for the summer of 2020. This one doesn't look too bad, really. It has a little bit of above average heights extending in from the Atlantic into the UK. It does seem to show a bit of a trough again, but more across eastern parts of Europe. So the dip in the jet stream is further away from us, I think. That's not a bad signal. I don't think, for this summer. Temperature anomalies from Kansas. This is tropical tidbits, by the way. Not sure if I mentioned that. Temperature anomalies are coming out rather warmer than average. So it is quite a warmish summer being predicted there from Kansas. And the precipitation anomaly is coming out close to average. Not a particularly big deviation either way. We can't show you the IRI probability maps, unfortunately, this month. The website at the Columbia University won't load for me tonight when I'm recording this video. So we skip on from that and we head to Patal Peng's analog. So this is the 200 millibar height anomaly from Patal Peng's analogs for summer 2020. Remember, Patal is looking at sea surface temperature anomalies across the world in any given month. In this case, last month, March 2020, looks at sea surface temperature anomalies, then goes back to years had similar sea surface temperature anomalies, and then creates an analogues-based forecast going forward. So Patal Peng is going for quite a big trough of low pressure to be in the Atlantic. That's the main driver of things, really, for this summer. Low pressure in the Atlantic. There is some higher pressure to our south. Winds are coming in probably from a southwesterly direction, so it would be relatively warmish signal, but potentially quite unsettled with that low pressure very much driving the weather from the Atlantic. Temperature anomalies from Patal Peng's analogues are forecasting a warmer than average summer, quite significantly so, between 1 and 2 degrees above average, but also wetter than average. Look at this, quite substantially above average rainfall there for the summer of 2020 for the UK. And with such warm temperature anomaly up to like 1 to 2 degrees above average, that could be rather volatile, I have to say. There could be volatility within that. Certainly wouldn't rule out the chance of the thundery outbreaks there. So quite a volatile, warm, but also wet summer from Patal Peng. CFSV2 next, so 700 millibar height anomaly from CFSV2, and this one is forecasting above average heights for the summer of 2020 to be sitting to our north. Below average heights in the Atlantic, only a small trough of low pressure, winds probably rather westerly. It looks a bit mixed. It looks like a bit of a mixed summer, I have to say, based on that 700 millibar height anomaly. Temperature anomalies from the CFSV2 are only around average, no better than average. Many eastern and northern parts of Europe are slightly warmer than average, yes, with a slightly above average temperature anomalies. But for the UK, for Ireland, France, Spain, Portugal, all of Western Europe, temperature anomaly only comes out near normal. And also looks a little bit on the wetter than average side as well through this summer. Slightly above average precipitation for Ireland and the UK. Quite significantly above average across more southern parts of Europe, south of France into Spain. Looks a mixed summer based on the CFSV2. I think you'd expect westerlies, I think you'd expect low pressure in the Atlantic to be kind of driving things a little bit. So quite similar really to what Patal Peng's analogues are showing. The only difference is that with the CFSV2, the temperature anomaly is cooler. But overall, the pattern, I think, is quite similar. This is how the ECM is looking. The ECM doing a seasonal model. So this, again, means the pressure anomalies for June, July, August, summer 2020. ECM is going for above average heights to be out to the west of the country. There could be some high pressure out to the west of the country, really, as it means low pressure. There could be some low pressure up to the north as well. Jet stream could be doing something a little bit like that. Temperature anomalies for the summer of 2020 from CFSV2 are very much near normal, not a particularly big deviation, bit colder than average in the Atlantic, bit milder than average to our south, but overall quite close to average really with temperature anomalies with the ECM this summer. Precipitation anomalies for the summer of 2020 look like that. Overall, again, very close to average. A bit drier than average to our south, a bit wetter than average to our north. All looking very, very average. Very average type summer with the ECMWS seasonal model. Let's move on to the Copernicus suite. So we go to Meteo France next at Copernicus. And again, mean level pressure anomaly for the summer of 2020. has high pressure in the middle of the North Atlantic, a bit of a mid-Atlantic ridge, low pressure up towards Greenland. Very weak anomalies, though. Overall, it still looks like everything's probably just driving in rather slackly, if that's a word. Perhaps I've just made up a word. Is slackly a word? I'm not sure. I possibly just made that up. But everything looks rather slack and sort of meandering in. Meandering is a word. Meandering in from off the Atlantic. Temperature anomalies from Meteo France for the summer of 2020. Again, very close to average. Not a particularly big deviation either way. I think many parts of Europe are warmer with Meteo France for this summer compared to the ECM. But nevertheless, for us, for the UK, for Ireland, our temperature anomaly is very, very close to average. Precipitation anomalies, again, very close to average or possibly no signal. All looking rather samey, really, with the ECM and with Meteo France too. DWD looks a little bit better. This is a mean cell pressure anomaly from DWD, and it's going for high pressure to be centred more or less over top of the country. Jet stream is pushing northwards as well. That's one of the better summer patterns that we've seen so far in this update. Therefore, temperature anomalies are a little bit warmer too, so slightly warmer than average summer being forecast there from the DWD German model this month, the summer of 2020. And it is slightly drier than average as well. So that one is going for a warmer and drier than average summer with more of a high pressure influence. Haven't seen many models going that far actually through this update yet, but that is at the better end of the range if you want a warm and dry summer. This one isn't. This is the CMCC, which is the Mediterranean model. Again, it's mean sea level pressure anomalies, and this one is going for blocking to the north. It's going for blocking within the northern latitudes up here. So I've got high pressure to the north of the country. There's no particularly evident trough of low pressure there, but you would have thought under the block we're probably bringing in a trough of low pressure, and the jet stream may be on a southerly track as well under this blocking that's going on up here. Winds could be sort of northeasterly type direction. So that could be a relatively cool and unsettled signal for this summer. Temperature anomalies are only around average and actually hint at possibly being colder than average, certainly out in the Atlantic. Also, interestingly, and quite unusually, Spain and Portugal being forecast to have a colder than average summer. Below average temperatures down there, generally below average in the North Atlantic too. I think the CMCC hints at cooler than average summer. Precipitation-wise, near normal or no signal. It's drier than average to the north, and of course is indicative of the northern blocking. Wetter than average to the south. I would expect there would be some quite appreciable rain at times with such a high level of northern blocking. So that one going for a cooler and potentially slightly wetter summer. This is Jamstec. Jamstec temperature anomaly for the summer of 2020 is going for a warm summer, not just for the UK, but through many parts of Northern Europe. In fact, many parts of the Earth there have gone into very substantially above average temperature anomalies. I'm not sure what's happened to the Jamstec. They've done an update to it, and it looks a little bit over top that to me in terms of the above average temperature anomalies. But anyway, there we go. That's what it's going for. Above average temperatures this summer, going from around 1 to 1.5 degrees above average. So a warm summer coming up. And relatively dry summer as well. So this one probably similar to what DWD was showing. This one again, anticyclonic I would have thought, with drier and warmer than average conditions. You can see the extension from the Azores High actually. There's the ridge from the Azores High building into the UK and going to our east as well. Jet streams up there. So you can see why it's going so warm through this summer. It's building up the Azores High and hooking it up to Scandinavia. And when that happens, we tend to have quite a hot type pattern. So Jamstec is definitely a hotter end of the range for this season model roundup. We're coming towards the end now. This is Beijing Climate Centre. Beijing Climate Centre 500 millibar height anomaly for the summer of 2020 looks like this. So again, actually a little bit similar maybe to Jamstec, with an area of above average heights, high pressure extending from the Atlantic into many parts of Europe. Jet stream looks like it should be pushed up there as well. So that again probably hints at being a rather warmer and drier summer pattern, if anything. This is 200 millibar height only. This makes things a little bit easier to make out. So again, you've got the above average heights just there and down to there. Again, over here, and seemingly a ridge building through the Atlantic and going to Central Europe as well. Low pressure is up here, I would have thought. So, with the jet stream. So, overall, it looks like Beijing is going for a rather anticyclonic sort of pattern for this summer. Temperature anomalies are slightly above average. Maybe not quite as warm as you might have thought, given the high pressure signal. Many parts of Europe having a very warm or hot summer, though. And precipitation anomalies, it's drier than average due to quite a lot of ridging going on. So, below average rainfall. And a dry anticyclonic type summer forecast from Beijing Climate Centre season model. And then finally, we've got our very own UK Met Office Glossy 5. And this is the mean sea level pressure anomaly from the UK Met season model for the summer of 2020. And looks a little bit mixed. Low pressure is sitting to our north and northeast. Some weak high pressure looks like it's down to our southwest. I would have thought this is lining up the jet stream northwest to southeast. So the jet stream is taking the northwest to southeast alignment. And it just looks rather mixed again, Matt. So that's one of the rather more unsettled and mixed models. The UK Met is actually going for a colder than average summer, which is quite unusual for the UK Met season model. I can't remember very often that it goes for a colder than average season. It's very rare for that to happen, but it's going for below average temperatures actually with this summer. That's because, again, the jet stream is on a northwest southeast alignment. And it's also going for above average precipitation, so a wetter and cooler than average summer with a northwest southeast alignment to the jet stream is the forecast from the UK Met there. I'll show you the reason why it's doing that, and it's doing it, why I think primarily it's doing that, and it's doing it because the UK Met seasonal model wants to develop quite a strong and rapid transition to, or quite a rapid transition to quite a strong La over in the equatorial Pacific Ocean. And when that happens, we know that we favour cooler, wetter conditions during the summer. That is quite a strong La event, but it's forecast with those deep blue colours on the temperature scale. That's going to around 1.5 to 2 degrees below average. That is reaching strong La territory, and that is only for the tri-monthly period of June, July, August. So from where we are right now, with sea surface temperature is in that part of the equatorial Pacific, that's a very rapid transition into a strong La that the UK Met season model is going for this summer. And that's kind of like the thing that we saw in 2007, in 1988, you know, those kind of very infamous, I don't want to worry anybody, it's those kind of infamous summers, when we had a very quick flip into quite a strong La through the late spring and early summer. I will just say that it looks a little bit unlikely given how warm the northern Pacific Ocean is up here, and generally a bit above average down here in the southern Pacific Ocean as well, in the South Pacific. So when the Pacific generally is in quite a warm state, it is relatively unusual to hook up a very strong La But it has happened in the past, actually. 1988, I think, had an overall pretty warm Pacific Ocean, and we still managed to get quite a strong La going, and we had a terrible summer in 1988 as well. So don't discount that at all. That is a possibility that the UK Met's got that right, and we'll see next month. Actually, next month's update from UK Met going to be very, very interesting to see whether A, it's going for this strong La still, and B, whether, if it is, whether it's still going for a cool and miserable summer here in the UK and across northern parts of Europe. We shall see, and all will be revealed with the UK Met season model next month. Right, that's it for the second summer 2020 season model roundup. It's been a mixed bag, this. I don't think there's been a consistent and clear trend throughout this update. I think we're still seeing a lot of confusion, a lot of variation going on. I would suspect if we went through them again one by one, I'm sure somebody in the comments will let me know, but I suspect again it's probably close to a 50-50 split between the models that are drier and warmer and the models that are cooler and wetter. So I don't think we can glean anything in particular about this update. There are some of those models that are going for a very, very good summer in terms of being really warm and dry. Others that are looking pretty bad. And it's update number 2. So I was hoping things would become a little bit clearer with these long-range models this month, but it's not happened. And it's all going to come down to the third update now. The third and final season model roundup will be released. Not sure what date it will be, but it will be sort of towards the end of May. Probably the last Saturday of May, actually, which, thinking about it, is going to be the 30th of May. So the third and final, it's all freeze together. The third and final seasonal model roundup summer 2020 will be released on Saturday, the 30th of May, the day before we release the Gazweb's summer forecast on Sunday the 31st. Right, that's it then for your first video. We'll be back later on with Gazweb's Sunny Roundup. Got a live stream coming up on the YouTube channel between 5 and 6 o'clock. Just let everybody check in and see how everyone's doing during lockdown. This video will be placed on the summer 2020 updates page, and there'll be a written summary that goes with it as well. I'll get that up for you this evening. Analogs are back next Sunday, and I think we're going to be doing July data. So next Sunday, you'll be able to see what summers are like after very warm Aprils. Should be an interesting watch, and that will be up 10 AM next Sunday. Next video up today, though, is Gazweb's Sunny Roundup, and I'll see you for that shortly. Don't forget the live stream between 5 and 6 o'clock tonight. That's all for now, and thanks for watching.